Yeah, we're going to talk about Fuzzy's youth and growing up and things that transpired after that. Now, years ago, apparently they had a guy that would come around with a pony and they'd take your picture on it. And then the guy left, but he left behind some pony manure. Of course, I went over there and stuck my hands in it, walked over to my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, pull my finger." I grew up with 6 sisters. I don't know if you can see them here or not. That's not all of them there. They were on. The rest of them were on their way. We were dressed up for like church or Easter or something. But yeah, I've got a bunch of sisters. One nice thing about having sisters, having 6 sisters, they had access to the girls' restroom where it was a little bit harder for me to get into. So when you're like 13, you'd have your sisters right on the bathroom walls. "Hey, for a good time, call Fuzzy." So there I am waiting at home, and these 15, 16, 17-year-old girls are calling me up. Yeah, nothing like being 13 years old and having an older woman take an interest in you. My sister Sharon and my sister Joyce and me listening to them. When you have a bunch of sisters and they all talk at the same time, you can't understand what they're saying. You just sit there and you nod your head. That's what you do. You nod your head. So later on in life, I got custody of the kids, and for the first two years, we ate out. The reason being, when I made hamburgers, they were done on the outside and raw in the middle. So we ate out for 2 years. They cut back the hours at the shop, and I had to start cooking. My sisters got together and sent me a care package. Had a cookbook and a bunch of other stuff, and I do remember the food coloring. But kids get bored eating the same thing. I mean, they had instant potatoes and we had Salisbury steak with gravy already made up. And, but anyway, the kids get bored of the same stuff, macaroni and cheese. So one day when I made the instant potatoes, we had red potatoes. Then the next day we had orange potatoes. Then we had yellow, we had green, we had blue. You name it, we had it. But you got to do them things to keep the kids occupied. One time I made some homemade bread. And I made a big batch. I got carried away. But anyway, I didn't have enough pans. And I had an old, I don't know if it was a tomato can or a high C can. It didn't have ridges, I remember that. I cut the top of it out, washed it out real good, greased it all up, let the dough rise twice, and when the kids got home from school, they had round bread. And I thought that was really unique. And like I said, I had 6 sisters: Nancy, Darlene, Joyce, Sharon, Judy, Carol. Nancy, Darlene, Joyce, Sharon, Judy, and Carol. Yeah, okay. I had to count on my fingers there to think of how many I had. Then was the good old days. And I told the story about, I didn't know the kids didn't like rice. And every time they come home from school, I'm a single parent and they want to go in the room and watch TV. So me and the dog sat at the table. The kids went in the room and ate. About a year later, I decided I'm going to clean the couch cushions out of there and clean the registers out for the heat and all that good stuff. Oh my God. The couch was full from one end to the back, clear to the other end, Spanish rice. I bent I don't know how many spoons trying to dig that stuff out of there. I'm pretty well frustrated, and I lift the registers up, Spanish rice. The kids got home from school or from playing or whatever, I made them sit at the table and we had Spanish rice. And they're sitting there crying. Every time they did that, I stuck another spoonful of Spanish rice on their plate. And they're sitting there picking us. "Why don't you kids eat?" "We don't like rice." "Why didn't you tell me?" "We didn't want to hurt your feelings." So I felt like 2 cents. So I told them, go outside and play, and I get some more hamburger out and make them some hamburgers. So they went out and played. They're at the stove. Screen door opens up quietly. Hey, Dad. What? Did you check your waders? And the door slammed and he took off running. I went in the room. Sure enough, my hip waders for fishing had Spanish rice in. I had to ruined them. I had to throw them away. That's what it's like raising kids. That's what it's like growing up. Wish those 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls would call me back now. All right. Thanks for watching. Guys, have a nice weekend.